Sport Superbike 2 is a budget motorbike racing game that was released for the PlayStation in 2002 that offers up a simulation focused approach that allows you to control a variety of different controlled racers across a multitude of different tracks, while offering up various modes of play with single player race, practice, championship and even a 2-player split screen mode, and allows you to play on different variety of difficulty levels to cater to your own specific tastes. Now, with this being a budget entry title, it also utilises the same graphical elements and visual styles seen in other games released by the same publisher, although in this game there is a few different and subtle differences in terms of the variations, as the visuals have been somewhat improved. They are a little bit more colourful, the sense of speed is a little bit faster compared to the original games, as this engine was also used to create the Castrol Honda Superbike series that would also have been seen on the PlayStation. So out of all of the games that's on this list, when we look at those, we look at the first Sport Superbike game and even another game that was also released under the same developers under XS Moto. They're all virtually identical, bar this game. This one is the only one out of the handful of games that I've mentioned that is slightly different to some degree. It has very similar visual aesthetics, but it changes up some of the visual features, like I mentioned, with the tracks, the colour palettes, designs, and even with the control hub with the speedometer and so forth, that is slightly different to that of the original game. But what this does is it also, when you're playing even a single player race, it always forces you into doing qualifying laps before you can partake in an official race. So that might put a lot of people off if they're just looking for a quick pick up and play experience, as it will take a wee bit longer to get into. But for those that want a bit more of an authentic approach, will find it enjoyable to some degree. But even aside from those elements, the game and even these series of games didn't get the best of reviews at the time, as simulation racing games weren't very popular, or there was very little of them seen on the console at that time, as people were more interested in more quick pick up and play, fast paced, even arcade elements to their racing games. So when we did finally get a simulation focused racer, very few people really wanted to adapt to it, as the entry level elements to get up and running would be quite difficult for the casual player, so that would put a lot of people off. But it really just depends on your own preferences. These games aren't for everybody. They will appeal to a select few, but back in those days, these type of racing games wouldn't have been really as popular on consoles. If you wanted to play better quality simulation games, you usually had to go onto the PC and play on that platform for the best experience, as consoles still at that time hadn't fully adapted to that approach. The only other games that I can mention that had that style would have been racing games such as Gran Turismo and even Colin McRae Rally, but they perfected that, but in their own genre. But motorbikes still had some way to go to catch up with that aesthetic. But in fairness to these series of games, that's as close as you're going to get on the PlayStation, as in realistically there's very few racing games in terms of motorbike racers on the system in general. There's only about 20 that I can find, that I can think of, and there's only about 10 out of those 20 that are completely original titles. All the rest, including this one here and all of the other games by the same developer, are technically in many cases just rehashes of the same game over and over again, just with a few visual tweaks or aesthetics here and there, but virtually nothing has changed in many regards. This is the only game out of those bunch of games that is somewhat slightly different in most regards, but it is what it is. It is a motorbike racing game. Like I said, it will appeal to a few but not to many, so it really just is down to you at the end of the day. But I would love to know your thoughts on Sports Superbike for the PlayStation, if you have played it at all, if you played any of the games from the same developer, or have you played the sequel, and if so, what did you think of them overall? Did you like them, or maybe not so much? So be sure to share it down in the comments below, and if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. And if you would like to see more content around other superbike or motorbike racing games that were also released on the PlayStation, you can check out the playlist on screen to see more of those games in action. And as always, keep those gaming memories alive.